Hi guys, and welcome to my movie review of The Witches 2020, directed by Robert Zemeckis. He who directed Back to the Future, he who directed uh bloody hell, what's it called? Who Framed Roger Rabbit, amongst other things. And for the most part, I'd like to say that it was an interesting movie to watch. And the reason it was interesting was because I wanted to see how people would interpret it today. And it's strange and it's stupid. I don't know who was making decisions for this particular movie, but whoever it was, they need to be fired or slapped or both. So let me give you a bit of a background. The Witches is a book, or was a book, that was written by Roald Dahl, a Welsh, but English author, and he wrote kids' books, and I've read quite a few of his books, and I actually read The Witches, and this is probably the only movie that I've actually read the book for and watched the movie from the 90s and now watched this particular movie. So I'd like to think that I've got an understanding of the story, not only that, but the author's other works to actually get like a baseline of what this particular story is about, what he's trying to convey, and if it was translated properly or not. And from the word go, this is not like the book. This is not like the 90s movie. And it's been a very long time since I actually read the book, so it's not going to be completely fresh in my mind. But it's not set in the UK or the Netherlands at any point. It's set in the US, and it's set in the around the 60s in the US and Alabama, I think, to be exact, towards the start of the movie. And you know what? It was nice. It looked like it had like very warm scenery. Like everything was really, really bright, really rich in like yellows and oranges and all this kind of color. And I thought, okay, this looks quite interesting. And soon as um, we got the voiceover over by Chris Rock, it just felt like an episode of Everybody Hates Chris, and to an extent, it was. And it it was interesting. I wanted to see where it would go, and obviously, it's been translated into being based in the US. So they are going to change quite a few things. So we had uh, music that was from the time, like a lot of Motown classics and that kind of stuff that grandma would listen to and try to cheer up the boy. The boy's name never gets mentioned at all. I don't know why. Why is that even a thing? And in the book, sorry, in the TV show, sorry, in the actual movie from the 90s, his name was Luke. I don't know why they didn't carry that on, but they didn't. Bruno Jenkins is Bruno Jenkins. I think he was one of the only characters I actually liked. He seemed very much like the 1990s um, Bruno, which was funny. Uh, Surprisingly, I did like the music towards the start, like the Motown classics, and they were good. But the thing is, it all felt out of context with what I had obviously previously come to enjoy, come to know. But obviously, because it is what it is, it's its own thing. I let it play through, and it was good. And then we find out that there's a witch who is trying to get hold of the boy, and grandma says, "Oh no! Once a witch tries to get hold of you, she'll keep trying to get hold of you. So we need to run away somewhere for a short period of time." So that's what they do, and they move to the hotel. Now, some of it seems a bit dodgy, and I thought to myself, do you know what? I'm just going to let it play on and see what happens. At this point, I was quite interested in seeing how they would introduce the witches, because some of the law has been changed slightly. Witches still wear wigs, which is fine. But their hands are like talons or something. They've got like three finger claws, and I don't know, it's just odd. Anyway, there weren't any little side storylines. Stanley Tucci was playing the hotel manager, and I think he was good too. I enjoy seeing him now and again in movies and TV shows, and he was good. But then my biggest problem was with the Grand High Witch, and there's just several problems with the Grand High Witch. Firstly, this is the Grand High Witch here. So, firstly, she's got this dodgy accent. It keeps getting very muddled, and I don't know if they're playing it for jokes or for getting a laugh, but it's not funny, whatever she says in a strange accent, because it doesn't really resonate in any particular way, and you can't tell if she's joking or not, and it's just dumb. Okay, so here are the claws. If you can see, you've got a hand raised here. So you've got one, two, and three claws. And for some reason, her dress is alive. It's a snake, uh, and it's alive, but it actually doesn't do anything apart from move around every so often. That's not a problem, to be honest with you. The main problem I have is that she looks like this. She looks like Anne Hathaway. Okay, and she's got this kind of Chelsea grin or Chelsea smile, which is like kind of like the Joker from The Dark Knight. And when she speaks and is angry, the side of her face opens apart. And it's not very frightening, to be honest with you. And I just didn't like Anne Hathaway's performance, which is quite sad because the last few movies that I've seen her in, I haven't really liked her performances, and I don't know what's wrong with her, but it's like she's like a franchise killer to me, and yeah, I find that odd. But look at this. Would you be afraid of this? This is a movie where it's about it's basically a kids movie to scare the crap out of you uh, and make you afraid of witches. Obviously, witches don't really exist, and we don't know what they really look like. But for a child, this this is what you would want to see in a movie about witches, you want to get scared. You want to get like completely freaked out. And this is Angelica Houston from the original 90s movie. And yeah, it's like prosthetic makeup. And sometimes it didn't look right in certain angles and certain places and whatnot. But it was just the fact that it was so grotesque that it was scary, but you kept wanting to watch it. This, on the other hand, just looks like some deranged woman that you might see at Tesco. But this is just scary. And Angelica Houston's accent was a lot more consistent. And actually, she pulled it off in such a good way. And this was before she was in, I think this was definitely before she was in the Adams Family. And she did such a good job in this compared to what Anne Hathaway has done. I think Anne Hathaway basically was trying to do an imitation and she failed, absolutely failed. So let's keep Angelica Houston's face. Excuse me. Let's keep Angelica Houston's face. Excuse me. Let's keep her face on the screen for now. And let's just try to understand where this movie went wrong. And I think the main place this movie went wrong is that it tried to um, be too different from the book. Like there are elements of it that are similar to the book, but a larger majority of it, I think, is completely done absolutely wrong. And yeah, let's just see if we can have a look at the IMDb page. Okay, so it looks like semi-modern, even though it's filmed in the 60s or based in the 60s. Let's see what the rating is. Oh, it's got a 5.4 rating. That's not good. Oh, God. Okay, so we have Chris Rock, older Hero Mouse voice. Hero Boy. Yeah, so this is the name of the boy. It's called Hero Boy. Why? Octavia Spencer. She was probably one of the best things about this movie. I love seeing her in movies. She's brilliant in Ma, and she's good in a lot of other things. And I thought she was really good in this. She was believable, but she was also scary in certain places. And it was like, what the hell? She's meant to be like a nice old granny. But yeah, so she was good. Chris Rock's voiceover, I don't understand why they had to do a voiceover for him. But I think originally, who told the story? Was it Grandma in the original 90s movie who told the story? I can't quite remember. Uh, but yeah, this kid, he was okay. Jahir, Bruno, he was okay. He didn't like stand out as an actor. So you could say there was a weak hero hero boy. Um, who else? No, not really. There really isn't anyone else in this movie. So you could put this down to Hero Boy, Grandma, and what's her name? Anne Hathaway, who doesn't seem to be booked. What? She's not even in the first page of the cast. That's interesting, isn't it? Okay, so yeah, Anne Hathaway. And yeah, it's just ridiculous. I wanted to say so many things about this movie, but I think ripping it an arsehole is not going to actually do me any favors. So, yeah, I don't think I will. So, let's just take the picture off there and then we can go into the storyline. Reimagining Roald Dahl's beloved story for a modern audience. Shut up. That's bullshit. Okay, so the film visually was very well lit. It looked really, really saturated with yellows and oranges in color, and it looked really impressive. The direction was okay, it wasn't too bad. The music towards the beginning of the movie was fine, but it's just the story. The way they told it just completely broke down. It is essentially the same story, but tweaked, and it's just not tweaked properly to the point where it's making any kind of sense in certain places. Uh, oh, okay. So I'm not going to read any of this because this is just ridiculous. I'm actually getting quite frustrated now. I'm getting quite angry. But yeah, it was an interesting movie to watch. To watch this particular version uh, pissing on the 1990s movie and completely changing itself from the Roald Dahl classic novel. And it's just ridiculous. It's like if you're going to reimagine it and convert it to something completely different, just call it something different. Come on. Don't reuse names and IP and then completely change it to fit whatever you want to write or say. And yeah, I didn't like it, I'll be honest with you. It was fine in certain places, and I can appreciate the work that was gone into it, but it's not what I expected. I wanted the witches to be scary. I wanted them to look ugly. I wanted them to be more part of the movie. They were actually less. There was actually less witch interaction than than the last movie, the 1990s movie. So yeah, not good. I'm going to be never watching this movie ever again. And I hope that if you do watch it, you get to enjoy it. And if you don't enjoy it, just go and watch the old one. The old one is 10 times better.